the OldPreMeds podcast, session number 207. You're a non-traditional student entering the medical field on your terms. You may have had some hiccups along the way, but now you're ready to change course and go back and serve others as a physician. This podcast is here to help answer your questions and help educate you on your non-traditional journey to becoming a physician. Welcome to the OldPreMeds podcast. My name is Dr. Ryan Gray, your host here every week, where I take questions directly from the non-traditional pre-med forum over at premedforums.com. I want to thank you for taking the time to join me today, this glorious December day, as this episode is coming out. I hope you are enjoying the end of your year or whatever time of year it is that you are listening to this. We have another great question today. If you have a question you want answered here on the podcast, go to premedforums.com, find the non-traditional pre-med forum, and ask your question there. All right, our question today is all about shadowing and clinical experience. Our poster says, I'm a former high school science teacher who left the classroom to pursue medicine. I have a BA in political science and an MS in education. After completing a policy fellowship and teaching for 4 years, I knew that both education and politics were not for me. I'd considered medicine at various stages in my life, but didn't want to pursue it until I was fully sure. My life experiences taught me that I wanted to work with people in need and help them achieve their full potential. I believe that through medicine and education, I can treat and heal patients so that they can achieve their goals and live the lives they want. A year and a half ago, I began volunteering at the front desk of a major hospital and then transitioned to the ED while working full-time as a teacher. I started off as a science major in college and had some AP science credits awarded by my undergraduate institution, so I was not starting from scratch with prerequisites. I also completed about 24 science credits at a community college and took the MCAT. My undergrad GPA is 3.8, and current GPA from my prereqs is 4.0, and my MCAT is a 5.11. All right, great stats. I started a post-bacc this summer. I don't know why. At a university and am currently enrolled full-time in all upper-level science courses. I have about 250 volunteer hours. Right now, my main concern is getting clinical experience and shadowing hours for the upcoming admissions cycle. I recently started volunteering with a hospice organization, but have only done 4 hours so far. When I volunteered at the hospital, I didn't have a ton of patient interaction. Also, I have only shadowed 2 doctors thus far, one being my dad. Today, I spent about 3 hours calling doctors' offices, and every single office told me they didn't allow shadowing. I'm wondering, 1, what is the most effective way to get permission to shadow? And 2, does it look bad to get most of your shadowing and clinical experience in the 6 months before you apply? And 3, should I not even worry about research and just focus on getting all A's and clinical experience? All right. Lots of questions, very common questions on a journey to an application, especially for a non-traditional student. I'm going to start with the third question last. Should I not even worry about research and just focus on getting all A's and clinical experience? So this one kind of threw me off because the poster didn't mention research anywhere else and is just throwing it in there. So for 3, I don't think you should worry about research. At this point, you have a lot of other things that you need to focus on. You don't need research to get into medical school. Research won't help you understand if becoming a physician is right for you. So I don't think you need research. The first question, what is the most effective way to get permission to shadow? So if you haven't heard by now, I am building findshadowing.com. It is not open yet. You can go check it out, but if you search, you likely will not find any physicians in your area. We are kind of changing the way we are searching for physicians and reaching out to people. So as you are finding physicians that will come and or that will allow you to shadow them, we are having issues going one by one finding physicians that will sign up on our website. So, but that hopefully at some point will be there and will be an amazing resource for students. The best way is what you're doing. You just need to keep calling, keep asking, keep calling, keep asking. You have access to something that a lot of people don't, and that is a father who is a physician. So I would ask your dad to say, hey, Dad, do you know any other doctors that would allow me to shadow? use the resources, use the network that you have. And so I would definitely ask your dad what he can do for you. And for those of you who don't have parents who are physicians or in healthcare, guess what? You likely have your own doctor. So I would ask your own doctor if he or she would let you shadow them, or if they knew anyone that would allow you to shadow. So I would start with your network and go from there. Finding someone to shadow takes a lot of time. It is a lot of work, unfortunately, and it's some luck, right? It helps to have those connections in the first place. And then, does it look bad to get most of your shadowing and clinical experience in the 6 months before you apply? Yes, it does. But what are you going to do at this point? You could technically, potentially, delay your application a year, but I don't think you need to. It looks like you're scrambling at the last minute to check some boxes. And so I would really, really, really focus on getting those experiences and really doing a good job reflecting on those experiences as to why they solidified in your mind that you want to be a physician. But the problem is that you've gone down this path seemingly already convinced that you want to be a physician, and you haven't had any kind of shadowing and clinical experience. And that's going to look bad. It's going to look like you're going down this path, maybe because your dad's a doctor, and so now you want to be a doctor. There are a lot of things that look bad in this situation, but again, it is what it is. I don't think it will hold you up from getting in, but it may cause some admissions committee members, some reviewers to scratch their head and maybe pass on you. But it only takes one. And so I think you will be okay. So hopefully that helped. You definitely need that clinical experience, that shadowing, to prove to yourself that this is what you want. You've been in the hospital, but it sounds like it's more administrative type stuff and doing other things, right? Hanging out at the front desk doesn't really help. That's what I did when I first started volunteering in the hospital. Definitely did not help solidify in my mind that I wanted to be a physician. So good luck on your journey. Get those experiences, reflect on those experiences in your personal statement, your extracurricular activity descriptions, and in your interviews. If you want to learn how to tell your story a little bit better, go check out my personal statement book, the Pre-Med Playbook Guide to the Medical School Personal Statement. You can find that book at personalstatementbook.com. In that book, I was just recently at a conference and I had both my interview book and my personal statement book. And I was only giving one book to students. And they're like, well, which one should I have? Which one will help me better? And actually, I pointed more students to my personal statement book because I think that book does a better job of helping you tell your story, which will help you in your interview as well. Obviously, the interview book is all about the interview, but the personal statement book really helps you kind of come to your story. So go check it out. Again, personalstatementbook.com. I hope you have a great week. We'll see you next time here on the Old Pre-Meds podcast.
This is MedEd Media.